Possway T3 electric skateboard is an interesting board. It's a board that was set out to be a really comfortable hub motor board, and hub motor boards typically aren't comfortable. That's not really the main objective of them. So this is an interesting kind of mix. When Possway contacted me and said they wanted to send it, I was like, yeah, send it. Let's take a look and see what it's like, and I'll give you my honest review of it. So here it is. So we'll just go straight through the specs and get those out of the way. It's a 37-inch board. It'll hit a top speed of 32 miles per hour, and the board gets 17 to 20 miles, or so they claim. I think that's doable. That range seems pretty realistic for the size battery has, which is a 10S3P battery, and that battery has 280 watt hours of juice in it, so that's decent. It's got a rated power of about 1,000 watts, 500 in each motor. It'll carry someone up to 330 pounds in weight. It's got 45-degree trucks on it, so that's kind of a middle of the road, pretty carvy though, angle to the truck. And it's even got a little bit of a waterproof rating at IP65. So the deck is really, really nice. It's 37 inches long. It's mostly maple. I think it's 8 layers of maple and then 1 layer of bamboo. So there's really not a lot of flex in it. So definitely more of a stiff deck. It has a nice concave to it actually, and it felt really good. It's not an overly concave board, and it's definitely not an under. It was just a nice amount to it, I think, for like a kind of casual rider with this type of board. It felt really comfortable under my feet. I like that the front of the board and the back are like squared off the actual deck. It looks kind of cool. Has a little bit of style to it with the cut-ins on the sides too. And the grip tape was fine. I'd probably change it eventually though anyways, just because that's like one of the easiest ways to customize a board. So now for the most interesting parts of this board. The first is going to be the wheels. A lot of people want more comfortable wheels, but on a hub board. And the hub boards are nice because there's like no rolling resistance compared to a belt drive board. And they're silent, basically. It's so quiet. So I see the appeal in it for sure. But when I ride a regular hub board, I lose that appeal quickly because you have a very thin layer of polyurethane in between you and the ground and the steel motor in the back of the board, so you feel every little vibration, every sidewalk crack. So now with these wheels though, you have a much larger wheel. It's 105 millimeters, so there's a good chunk of polyurethane now in between. Now, is it as comfortable as like a pneumatic tire? No, not at all. But I think you're getting a pretty similar comfort level now with these wheels as you are with like normal skate wheels. So it's getting close to blurring that line of just feeling like the same as like a skate wheel, and I don't know if I'd feel that much of a difference. I was able to ride over sidewalk cracks and stuff without really even thinking about it for the most part. So much more comfortable. I would guess at minimum I could ride twice as long on this board with these hub motors because of the size of the wheels that are on there than I could a normal hub motor board. So take that for what it is, but I would never take a normal one like in the dirt at all. This you could go through like hard packed dirt the same way you could with a board that had like a little bit larger skate wheel on it. And it was super fun to be able to actually like take it in the dirt a little bit. And it's nice that it's a hub motor because nothing's gonna get in the belts or anything because there are no belts. So there are definitely some advantages to this. So the other really cool thing about the T3 is that it has a swappable battery. To swap it, you just undo 6 bolts. You take it off, there's 2 little wires you disconnect, you unplug those, you put the other battery on, and you're good to go. A second battery right now at least is like $220, so it's not like that crazy of an investment, and you can double your range. And it's all in this really nice little package. They did it in a pretty smart way because, I mean, you just take out those bolts. It doesn't have to have like a very advanced like latching mechanism and stuff, so it kept it pretty streamlined. Looks like a normal board, but you have the ability to quickly swap off the battery. That keeps this board actually pretty light at 20 pounds. It's not an insane weight for a electric skateboard. Easily they get into the 30s and up when you start increasing your range. So this is one way you can increase your range without necessarily making the board heavier. Pros and cons to it all. The remote is really comfortable in your hand. It has a nice feel to it. The thumb wheel is responsive. I had no problems with it at all. I like having the little screen on there. It's nice to see like your speed and stuff. It's kind of fun to look at. And it's cool to be able to track your mileage directly on the remote, so you don't even have to like bring your phone if you don't want to or anything. This remote lets you use 4 different speed modes: a low, medium, high, and pro. What I found out was that pro gets you a higher acceleration, but high gets you a higher top speed. So you can kind of pick which one you want it. I was usually in the high mode because I preferred to be able to get up to the higher speed and just kind of hold it there because it's just fun. You also are able to actually change the braking, which is cool. So you can change the strength of it. I kept that in the strongest one as well because I just like strong brakes, but some people like a softer braking, and that's a nice way you can just do it right from the remote. Okay, so now let's just keep it real. Here are my critiques of the board. Here are the things I think that they could have done better, or just aren't good. The bushings didn't feel like the greatest. I feel like they could have put better bushings in it, or maybe offered like different durometers of bushings. Maybe it could come with like an extra set, like a soft and a medium, or a soft and a stiff or something, but like, I don't know, they just didn't feel that great to me. I feel like you could upgrade the ride quality of the board a lot with just a bushing change, which isn't a ton of money or anything. You can drop like $20 to $100 or whatever you want to spend, but then that would increase, I think, the responsiveness of the board. I feel like the board had a little bit of a dullness to it. It didn't rebound as much, and I'm going to attribute most of that to the bushings. I think swapping those in the pivot cups, get some like Riptide pivot cups in there, and this thing, even just that, then that's like $10, and this thing would be, I think it would be super lively. It's not bad, but it's just, it definitely could be improved for just a few dollars. I wish the battery was a little bigger. 280 watt hours isn't bad, and it is swappable, so I'll give them that, but it would have been cool to see them use like a 21700 cell in this, because you're pushing those larger wheels to get a little bit more range out of the board. I think that would have been nice. So maybe in the next one, they'll go to 21700s instead of 18650 batteries, which are a little bit smaller. And also with those, you see a little bit more voltage sag. Towards the end of like your range on this, you're gonna see less torque. And that's my biggest con on this board is I do wish that they had more torque. That's where this board is lacking. Out of everything else, I could kind of be like, it's okay and stuff, but like the torque is, I need more than what this board really has to offer. But I have to remember at the price point, this board is coming in at like $650 normal. Right now it's $500, so it'll probably always be right in that range. And for that amount, to be able to get wheels like this already on it, you don't have to do some crazy swappy, you don't have to buy them from another company and try to like swap your hub and make sure they fit, and will you be able to, it's just like, it's already done. That's worth a lot, so I get it. And it's nice to have them, but I just needed a little bit more power, and maybe the 21700s would give this board enough power to be able to give it a little bit more torque. So if you're like a heavier rider, just know that going into this board is gonna be a little bit more sluggish off the line, but it does have a decent high end at like around 30, 32 miles an hour. So I don't know, pick your poison, right? Overall, I like the board. You just got to know what you're getting into, but it's really comfortable. And remember, that was the main objective of the board. It wasn't to be the torquiest, fastest, craziest board. It was to be a comfortable, very quiet cruiser. And I think it accomplishes that super well. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop them down below, and I will see you guys next time.